Hi there, this is Datila, and welcome to TNAIW GoGoPowerRankings show. As always, I'm joined by my two co-hosts. First, to my right, he's the third rascal. He's the star of the show, the one and only Burt Macklin.
Feels good to be, third rascal. I like that. How you guys doing? Really, everybody in the, everybody in Ranger Nation.
I like that. It is Power Month. And to my left, he is the godfather of the Power Rankings. He's the DNA of LL TNAIW. He puts the Lucha and Lucha House Party, the Lucha and Luchasaurus, the Lucha Space, the brother and Lucha Brothers. Give it up for Lucha, 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 Lucha.
Yeah.
Before you even said that was Lucha, I thought I for a second there I thought Denzel was our co-host this week.
Denzel Washington. Lucha.
What?
All right, guys. So we had an incredible episode of Impact this week. So much happened. So we got quite a few things to talk about. But before we get into it, Bert, who do you think made the Power Rankings this week?
To keep it short, Kushida. What a banger that was against Mike Bailey.
Yeah, I agree. Incredible match.
And if I had to also take a guess, not by my personal preference, just by going who the committee loves, I would expect to see PCO in there. Just because the committee loves themselves some PCO. Unkillable PCO. You heard Bully Ray. He lit him on fire. He was in shock.
Yeah, he was. Who wouldn't be? I mean, they poured battery acid down his throat. All right, what about you, Lucha?
And to follow up from last week, because I posed the question if ABC or whoever, if ABC were to win their match, would they get the same treatment the Rascals got from the committee as far as making it the number one? But I kind of wrote off Sammy and Rich a little earlier than I should have because they ended up getting the dub. So I guess the question becomes, do they get the same treatment that the Rascals got?
We gotta wait. With that being said, let's play his Power Rankings. Number 10, Jody Threat. Number 9, ABC. Number 8, The Rascals. Number 7, Speedball Mike Bailey. Number 6, Myers, Moose, and Bully Ray. Number 5, X Division Champion Leo Rush. Number 4, World Champion Trinity. Number 3, Callahan and Swan. Number 2, Motor City Machine Guns. Number 1, Kushida.
Interesting.
That's exactly what I said. These are an interesting power rankings, and I'll tell you why. We had 2 ties, actually. 2 ties. And that affected a lot, yes. And that affected everything. Because we had a tie for number 5 and a tie for number 8. So the number 8, because that was actually a 3-way tie. So the Rascals, ABC, and Jody Threat all tied with 26 points each. And because of that tie, they actually knocked off PCO, who came in with 25 points, Subculture with 24 points, and Diana Prazo with 21 points. So because of that tie, PCO, Subculture, and Diana Prazo did not make the power rankings.
I like how you did put the Rascals ahead of ABC, because while you could argue that ABC maybe should be switching because of the former champions, the Rascals have been hotter as of late, and the ABC did lose. So
no, ABC should be 10 because they lost.
Good point.
So you would put Jody Threat over ABC?
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting.
Last time I checked, Jody Threat was the man on these streets, and she won her match. Last I did she win?
Yeah, she did. She beat Alicia Edwards.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah, controversy
Creates catch, like always. So, what do you guys think of this three-way tie? Oh, the Rascals, ABC, and Jody there. What is it about the three of them that they all tied?
I don't really have. Well, obviously, the answer, like the simple answer, just would be that they all have the same points. But I think the reason for it is just because them being all bunched up would, two of them got wins, and then the other one, like I said, in ABC are the former champs. But, them being 8, 9, and 10, we decided, even though there's a tie, who is higher in a sense. But I do agree with Lucha. I would put Jody Threat at 9 and ABC at 10. Because you could also argue that maybe ABC didn't even deserve a spot because they did lose.
The reason why the Rascals are higher is simply because they got them and they smoke them.
True. So if you could take someone off, so if you would break this tie, who would you take off and add PCO?
I wouldn't add PCO. That's just me, and I don't mean to be a hater, but all he did was return.
Oh, okay. I mean, because
Burt said
he would have been if there hadn't been a tie, he probably would have been number 9.
So it was PCO, Deanna, and who else?
And Subculture.
I would honestly, me personally, I'm taking ABC off and putting Subculture on simply because Subculture are the tag champs. They did, even though it wasn't on Impact Television, they did successfully defend the belts this week. And again, ABC lost.
Good point.
So we're gonna Subculture. We're gonna sub ABC out and put Subculture in. I'm fine with that.
I almost quit the show because of that.
Well, I like your puns. Okay, the second time we had Leo X-Division champion Leo Rush tied with Moose Myers and Bully Ray, 41 points each. Both of them got. So I put Leo Rush ahead just for the simple fact that he is X-Division champion. Is there an argument to be made that Moose Myers and Bully Ray deserve to be ahead of Leo Rush?
There's actually an argument to be made that they should be ranked together.
Okay.
But I mean, because they're with their alliance, but it also makes sense considering they're not. Leo has been kind of non-committal on like linking up with him. He's been like, "Look, we here for this match, but we not a thing." So it's actually really fitting and beautiful that was a tie.
Yeah, they tied.
Yeah, it's Leo Rush is basically the top prospect in basketball or football. He hasn't put the Moose Myers and Bully Ray University hat on yet. You know what I mean? He hasn't committed yet. You know what I mean? He hasn't signed his letter of intent. You know what I mean? He's still a free agent.
He ain't ready to stand beside the most professional wrestling guys yet.
I like that. All right. So let's talk about number 2 and number 1. Number 2 being Motor City and number 1 being Kushida. I think we had this conversation. I feel like we've had this conversation before. Do we group them together?
Well, we're gonna talk again. Maybe just a quick insight, because we're gonna have a discussion after this. I think before going into each week, I'm gonna let the Godfather maybe decide how we should do that, because again, if you were going to group them this week, I think we wouldn't have as many close calls as we did. Their lead would have been more insurmountable, and there wouldn't have been more of a chance that anybody could have knocked them off. And while I agree that they're more of a team than Moose Myers, Leo, and Bully Ray, I just kind of look at it more of like a fraternity slash stable. You know what I mean? Like we obviously we'll group them together when they're a faction and they're having like matches on TV, but with Kushida being number one contender, I don't think it'd be fair to group them together just for those reasons.
What are your
Because
reasons?
I do like to see going into the power rankings every week. You know, while I enjoy Josh being number one all those weeks, I do like seeing it change up every week and different people having a chance to, you know, make big jumps and maybe not getting on that number one spot. And also too, I just think that if you did group them together, there'd be less of a chance for someone like Trinity, who is your world champion, to be number one. Because again, I think I had Trinity number two, I believe, just because of what they showed her say last week when Deanna said that she doesn't lose twice, and Trinity just said in the most badass form, well, maybe I'll do it. You know what I mean? That's why I had her so high, just because Trinity's on a roll right now. So I just think for this week it would have been a little unfair.
Lucha?
See, here's why I made the decision. You know, we're gonna peel back the curtains a little bit. Y'all can get some behind some inside baseball with the power rankings here. I made the decision ultimately for Kushida and the Machine Guns to be separate because, like, versus Moose Myers and Bully Ray, we know last week, this week, next week, and until the storyline says so, that's a unit. They're a unit that's like always together. Versus Machine Guns and Kushida, we know the Machine Guns are a unit. We know they're together. They're still a thing, even when they were both the two top solo champions in the company. They were still a tag team. So they, for that reason, and at this point, they're still together because they're still a tag team. It just so happens that one half of the tag team is the world champion, but they're still a team. They're still a unit. Just like with Moose, Myers, and Bully, yesterday, today, tomorrow, they're a unit. Kushida makes it muddy because Kushida's not always here. He will be here yesterday, won't be here today, will be here tomorrow, and you might see him in a few weeks, but then he's in and out too much because he's not really a home cat, you know what I'm saying? So with him being in and out so much, it would muddy the integrity of the power rankings and the faction law that the Machine Guns and Bullet Club and Honor No More took advantage of throughout their time. So
yeah, I would also add, because Kushida is not technically signed, Moose Myers and Bully Ray are more of a team in Impact canon, while Time Machine, you know, it's not. It's more of, you know, yes, Machine Guns are in Impact, and Kushida wrestles for Impact currently, not maybe signed. I think, like Lucha just alluded to, Moose Myers and Bully Ray, for the foreseeable future, are like a unit right now. We see them working together. All their promos are together. Yeah, I know Kushida was standing backstage with Machine Guns, but again, it's been a minute since they've teamed together.
That is true. That is true. So I guess we'll rank them separately from now on going forward. You guys listening? Everybody watching this video, rank them separately. But yeah, so I have to say, so far it's quite interesting. We had 2 ties. You know?
Uh-huh.
I don't think that's ever happened before. All right, coming in at number 7, Speedball Mike Bailey, who had an incredible match against Kushida. But you know, it surprises me that he still lost and he made the power rankings this week. You know, but I guess that's just a testament to the type of talent that Speedball is, because he's an incredible talent. Lucha, what are your thoughts on Speedball coming in at number 7?
Speedball is that dude. It is a little controversial that he did rank, considering, like you say, he lost, but also that's kind of sort of just saying, putting over the fact that match was freaking fantastic. Like, if there's I text Jeff this when this match happened. if there was a match that deserved the old school 2007 TNA chance with the pit going crazy and everyone losing their damn minds in the arena, it was that match. That match was awesome. So, and I think the match is what carries Speedball into the top 10 this week, and I'm 100% fine with that.
Same. It was an incredible match. Burt, your thoughts?
The way I look at it is, and I can use a comparison because, that match, there was, at no point did I think that it was a foregone conclusion that Kushida was going to win. And I'll use this example that when, Jody Threat got the win over Alicia, and Alicia's on the countdown and she lost. And I just think it's one of those things where that that Mike Bailey's so over, losses aren't going to hurt him as much. And then comparing it to Jody Threat and Alicia, there was no point where I thought Alicia was going to win that match. So that's just the way I kind of look at it.
Okay, interesting outtake. All right, Trinity, our Knockouts World Champion, coming in at number 4 this week. Not good, because she's usually number 2, number 3, but number 4. Why do you think that is, Burt?
Well, I'm pissed. Again, I think she should be number 2. Like I said, even though she didn't even have a match, she is your world champion. She's on a roll right now. She's arguably one of, if not the biggest star in the company right now. So I would have had her number 2. And I wouldn't even have been a problem having her number 1. Just because she did beat Deonna, a 3-time world champion who regularly makes the list, even though it hasn't won a big match in a while. But I just think Trinity's just on a whole nother level right now. And I just think number 4 is a little disrespectful. If you don't want to make her number 1, that's fine, but she should at least be top 3.
Lucha, what are your thoughts?
I don't like that Sammy and Rich are ahead of Trinity. That's really the only thing I can say. I wouldn't go that far to say that she's deserving to be number 2 or even number 1, considering who is number 2 and number 1, and the fact that they're kind of sort of in cahoots with each other. So they're just kind of they pretty much have a stronghold on that 1-2 spot, and rightfully so. Granted, Machine Gun should be 1 in my honest opinion, but Trinity being at 4, that's too low to me. They shouldn't have Sammy and Rich ahead of her based off of this one. Well, granted, Sammy and Rich do have some momentum. They've picked up quite a few wins as a tag team, even before this tournament's picked off. So they do have that momentum factor on their side, but not as much momentum as Trinity.
Anyways, that was muted. My bad. So I double checked the rankings, and Sammy and Swan beat Trinity by 10 points. They got 55 points, and Trinity got 45. They beat her by 10 points. That's why they're number 3.
Did they get like upset points? Because honestly, them beating the ABC is considered an upset, at least in my book. So they had got like some upset points.
I guess. I mean, I triple checked, and yeah, Sammy and Swan 55 points, Trinity 45 points.
If I'm not mistaken, this was also the match with the highest power ranking implications from last week.
Yeah.
And it's not like that's a bonus, ladies and gentlemen. We don't do that with it, but that match meant a lot going into the power rankings this week. And that match changed this reality.
But shouldn't we also take into consideration how Sammy and Swan won? Or we're just gonna turn a blind eye to
We
that.
can't do that because Burt's TV package doesn't show that stuff.
True that.
Hold on. In all seriousness, when a team member helps another team member win, it's different. That was all about outside. Again, the good hand. Again, I think that was more of like shenanigans. Again, I thought that took away from the match, if you ask me. Because again, if you can make the argument when a team member helps his other team member win is way different than when a team that's not even involved in it runs in. I don't even know what the good hands had to do with that match.
I wouldn't be surprised if they were
but I'll tell you why.
because of the Rascals.
Let me just say, I had Trinity 2, and Lucha had Trinity 4. We both each had Sammy and Rich number 8. But I think there's one reason why Sammy and Rich are ahead. It's because the brilliant Lucha coming up with the name All Night Draw. You know what I mean? I think that people saw that and they're like, we got to vote them high. That's a great name.
So for the record, I don't know if I came up with that or not. If I did, I'll take it. If not, hey. But All Night Draw
is a great name. Print the shirt.
It has sent over that royalty check.
But for her to be 10 points is big, especially when again, inside power rankings, world champions get a bonus of 10 points.
So that's fourth wall.
That's a lot of people that had Rich and a lot of people must have had Sammy and Rich a lot higher than me and Lucha did. Yeah. They must have had some first place votes.
Must have. They beat her by 10 points. All right. So, yeah, that covers everything. We got to the power rankings pretty fast because of those two ties. So
now I want to sing a remix of Lionel Richie's All Night Draw. I can't sing, but we need to get Rich that song. They need to buy Rich that song just because when he comes out to that, the crowd loves it.
We need to do a GoFundMe or something so Impact can get All Night Long by Lionel Richie for Rich Swann, and we need them to get Brass Monkey by the Beastie Boys for Speedball.
Oh yeah, when we were in San Francisco, we saw Speedball wrestle. He came out to Brass Monkey.
Yeah,
I just never. It's when when Rich comes out to All Night Long though, it just sets the tone for the night. They need to get him that song.
Definitely.
Because I don't think anyone's used a Lionel Richie song as their entrance before Rich. You know what I mean? That's just different than what everyone else is using. They need to get that song.
Yeah, I agree. It definitely makes a difference. All right. So since we covered all the power rankings, anybody have any last minute thoughts on the power rankings before we move on to our next segment?
I really did think PCO was going to make it, but again, there was just so many people jumbled up at the end. So
he would have. But I'm telling you, that three-way tie between the Rascals, ABC, and Jody Thread knocked him off the power rankings. He literally only had 20. He literally had 1 point less than all three of them. He had 25.
Impact's depth is cooking right now, just because you know what I mean. It's not just. Well, it's always never been about just the main event scene and Impact. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like right now, the roster's so strong.
Would have been interesting if we had a 4-way tie. So, all right. So now let's move on to the next segment, which I like to call the match that has the biggest implications for the power rankings next week. Burt, what are the matches?
We have
Lucha. I think we broke Lucha.
We have Eric Young versus Big Con. We have Deonna Purrazzo versus my new favorite wrestler, Kylan King. And then we have the tag team tournament finals versus the Rascals versus Sami Callihan and Rich Swann, aka All Night Draw.
And it seems like it's funny and sad at the same time that the tag team division has taken over the power rankings as much as it has the last couple of weeks. with the champions not even being ranked. Like, make it make sense. I don't understand it. But if it's if it's the Rascals versus All Night Draw, that's got to be it, because that's the only match involving two ranked people. We can go Deanna and Kylan King, because Deanna was kind of screwed out because of a 3-way tie, so that cost her spot. So maybe she'll be on some redemption shit to try to get her spot back in the top 10. But the obvious answer has got to be Rascals versus All Night Draw.
Oh, I forgot I was muted again. I have to agree, simply because All Night Draw came in at number 3, and the Rascals, not only did they come in at number 8, but they tied. So, be interesting to see who wins that and where they land on the power rankings.
I'm actually just going to go the other way, because I don't want to just agree, even though Lucha, that is the obvious answer. I could see Kylan King winning just to build, to give, because she has one half of the coven, to give her some more momentum going into her tag team match, their tag team match at Emergence. So I think that while it doesn't have as much implications, I think that is a big match.
I mean, Deanna is a former 3-time knockout champion, so.
But and also at the same time, though, I don't see her losing on her way on the road to her match at Emergence as well. So
yeah.
Again, that's why I think that has, because I think that they want to send her into that match looking strong. So
yeah. All right. Thank you guys all so much for watching and for the continued support. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. Make sure you hit that bell so you get notified whenever this video drops, or whenever TNAIW releases new content, such as Lucha.
Ladies and gentlemen, the time is nearly upon us. We are nearly at the beginning of the 2023 Super X Cup to crown our new TNAIW Impact Wrestling X Division champion. I'm actually in the process of running matches right now. Among a lot of amazing bangers, here's some of the highlights from the first round that you guys should look out for the Super X Cup. We have the Motor City Machine Guns collide. Yes, Chris Sabin, number 1 seed, taking on number 8 seed Alex Shelley. We have an amazing X Division classic for you between the Amazing Red and AJ Styles. On the other side of the bracket for the 2-7 matchup, Josh Alexander versus Samoa Joe. And what's another good one for you? Oh, yeah. 4-5 matchup. Frankie Kazarian versus Christopher Daniels.
I feel like being like Jerry the King Lawler and during the Royal Rumble with like 5 different people, he keeps saying, well, there's my pick to win. Because I was about to say AJ Styles is my pick to win. And I was going to say Samoa Joe is my pick to win. You know what I mean? I have too many picks right now.
And then we got how you going to act with Trey Miguel versus Ace Austin as another first round matchup?
Well, there's my pick to win right there, Trey Miguel.
That's funny.
I like how we have 2 members of Fortune in there. Fortune 4. AJ and Kazarian.
And we have Trevor Lee, also known as Cameron Grimes in WWE, versus Low Key.
Damn. That's a stacked tournament.
Yeah, it is.
This is for sure. Like I said on the show, if you're going to have like a X Division tournament and call it the Super X Cup, and it's like the best of like all-time X Division champions, it's pretty much going to be this bracket.
Wait, how come no PD Williams?
There's no PD Williams because they wouldn't let me download this PD Williams that I found that was like fucking perfect.
Oh. Was it Team Canada PD Williams?
No, it was Maple Leaf Muscle PD Williams.
But that just goes to show you that how stacked the X Division over the years. Some people could make it. You know what I mean? you can put everybody in it, but like,
and then you take into consideration that like even guys that were, what I'm saying, they were champs, but they were in the play-in polls, so they had to get through a 4-way to even make it into the tournament for the 7 and 8 seeds. So it's like it's just like these power rankings are real prestigious, and you gotta like get in to get in. This Super X Cup is the same way.
Lucha, how close was A Double into making it?
Austin Aries?
Yeah.
I'm not too sure. I don't know the exact results from the play-in polls, but I know he was one that was from a play-in poll that he didn't make it in. Same with Jerry Lynn.
Because Austin Aries is the originator of Option C. You know what I mean? The first one. So that just, again, this just shows you that a who's who didn't make it, but it's the people who did make it. This is the best of the best.
Alrighty then. Well, again, you guys, from the bottom of our hearts, it means so much you watch our stuff. And we'll see you guys next week. Bye.